All right, thank you very much, Hotep family, friends, distinguished guests. This is Grasshopper, aka Pianki, government name William Marshall Dow the second, named after my illustrious grandfather, William Marshall Dow the first. And today is February 7th, 2019. That is according to the Western calendar, and that is in correspondence with the Kemetic calendar, which is 6,259, also known as 6259. Sma Tawi. Welcome to the seventh millennium. It's a very prominent day because, as many of you know, throughout this country, this is the North America, the central part of North America, the United States of America. We, I shouldn't say we, I should say some constituents throughout the month of February, they celebrate what is referred to as Black History Month. Now, a lot of African descended beings throughout this country is definitely celebrating and partaking and ascribing to the celebration of Black History Month throughout the month of February. And I'm not going to sit on here and spit venom at anyone as they're doing their best to honor and to recognize the greatness that African people has bestowed upon this nation throughout the world. So I'm not going to be on here and spit no venom at them, but I just would like to expand it a little more. First and foremost, before I expand it a little more, I would like to give praise and honor to the honorable ancestor, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who was the founding father of what was referred to as Black History Week, or at that time, Negro History. Actually, today, February 7th of 1926, was actually the first day that he started to do Negro History Week. Once again, it was February the 7th, 1927. The honorable ancestor, great professor, emeritus, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, may he rest in eternal spirit, came up with Negro History Week. Now, that's largely due to the fact that Frederick Douglass was born in the month of February, and also he admired in that particular time period Abraham Lincoln as well, who was also born in the month of February, but he also knew that the contributions from a historical and educational perspective that African descendant beings have portrayed and put forth as a civilizing institutionally. I also state morally. I will also state to some degree constitutionally help to advance the civilization of the United States of America in this country. As many of you know, it was built on blood, sweat, and tears of African descended beings in this country. So the late honorable ancestor, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who was a professor, who was a profound educator. He was actually the third African to graduate with a PhD from Harvard University. I don't know who the second is. Many of us know the first is W.E.B. Du Bois. So anyway, he started to do Negro History Week, was a phenomenon, and throughout the years they would celebrate Negro History Week, and it obviously advanced to Black History Week. Then became Black History Month, and we have been celebrating Black History Month in the month of February ever since then, going from a week all the way to 28 and every now and then 29 days of the month of February. So we're going to give praise and honor to the honorable ancestor, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. However, I would also like to expound upon that African history, Black history, Moorish history, Kabylonian history, whatever you want to call ourselves, that represents our greatness is not just housed or relegated to the month of February. No, our story, not his story, but our story is a global phenomenon. Our story is unlimited. It's unlimited. Our story is happening every day. Our story is happening every minute, every hour, every second, every microsecond, because African history is an ongoing endeavor. It is continual, it's perpetual, it's eternal. So my contention is this: when it comes to our stories, and I'm here to tell you right now, when you really look deep into the fallopian tube of our stories, which is commonly referred to as history or herstory, when you look deep into the fallopian tube of African history or herstory, you will be able to find so many wonders that will give you the proper guidance and due diligence to help you find your true inner self, to help you find your mission and be steadfast, in pursuing your purpose. Yes, our story can definitely be the gateway and the tool to lead you to reaching your highest and greatest sufficiency on this mental, spiritual expression that we call life. Because our story is not just relegated to chronological order. You know, our story is much more just facts that you can regurgitate. That is a proponent of our story. But if you really study the first honorable ancestor, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who's always fond of saying that people without history is like tree without roots. You have no foundation. You have nothing to stand on. You have no source. And above all, you're dead. So history, or our story, or her story as it relates to the honorable African race, is definitely a very important tool to help you in manifesting to your highest, greatest good on this ball in the middle everywhere that we call Earth. Let me tell you something right now. When it comes to our story as it relates to the great accomplishments that we have done in not just this country, but throughout the world, we don't have to be housed into a certain stigma. No offense to the brothers throughout this country, but I'm most fond of saying that the creator, creatress, or the created did not put I'm going to say 85% of African males throughout this country to be in entertainment or to play in sports, primarily entertainment. You know, many of us probably know you can go around and talk to anybody as it relates to the brothers in this country, and I would say about 8 out of 10 brothers, to some degree, into music. To some degree, they have a passion for music, they have a love for music, and they say music as a career. And I'm not knocking that. If that's your craft and you have a desire and a yearning to really be steadfast as it relates to pursuing that craft in the entertainment field, then go for it. But I'm going to tell you right now, the entertainment field, particularly as it pertains to music, is oversaturated market, and so many people are galvanizing and gathering and trying, the operators trying to get that big break with the entertainment, in particular music. It is so overpopulated. So when you have something such as music that is so populated, yes, you can make money. Yes, it's a lot of money, but it's only so much money that can go around. So when you are pertaining into a certain field that is once again overly populated, what once was a craft that you could be elected from becomes a lottery for you to be selected from. Meaning it's not necessarily predicated on your skill set. Sometimes it's predicated on look. Sometimes it's predicated on buffoonery. Sometimes it's predicated on the feminization of the black man. So many different negative atrocities that ties into the entertainment field that many males may not ascribe to or may not be aware of. That's why I'm saying when it comes to learning as much as you can, the total ambiance or ensemble of African history, you can be a doctor like Dr. Sabi. You can be a tradesman like Booker T. Washington. You can be the supreme organizer or audacious businessman like the first honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Ken Bridges of Mob Top. You want to be an engineer, you can be like Granville T. Wood, excuse me. You can be inventors using your ingenuity and authenticity like Lewis Lattimore, Garrett A. Morgan. You dig what I'm saying? And James E. West, the inventor of the amplifier, the microphone. It's so many different parallels. You study our history deeply study our history to find your purpose in looking at our story, because as once again the first honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey teaches us, what has been done before can be done again. All you gotta do is look for the truth, and that goes back to a people without history is like a tree without roots. You have no foundation, you have no source, and you're pretty much dead. So once again, we know that our story is not just relegated to the month of February. Our story is relegated from January 1st all the way to December 31st. It's an ongoing, continual endeavor that is unlimited. Thank you for being attentive. This is a showstopper. They call it Grasshopper William Marshall Dow II, named after my grandfather, William Marshall Dow I. May he rest in spirit. I'm going to talk about why I still use my government name, even though I got numerous African names. I'm talking about that in the near future. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe. King Pianki at YouTube. Have a wonderful and prosperous and blacknificent, giving a shout out to Camille Kanban and my spiritual father, Dr. KB. You have a blacknificent Thursday. We out, but not going too black too strong.